Hello and welcome to WestAfrica.news. I am Falake Smith. The crisis around the Strait of Hormuz is no longer just a story about oil tankers, naval tension, or conflict in the Middle East. It is now becoming a story about the future direction of global trade. And very importantly, it is becoming an African story. And in that new contest over routes, Africa is not a spectator. Africa is part of the map. And perhaps if it prepares properly, Africa can become part of the answer. For decades, the Strait of Hormuz has been one of the most important passages in the world economy. It is the narrow waterway through which a major share of Gulf oil, gas, and commercial cargo moves from the Middle East to the rest of the world. But as tensions rise around Iran and the Gulf, shipping companies and governments are asking a difficult question. What happens if this route becomes too dangerous, too expensive, or too unpredictable? The answer is already taking shape. Ships are being redirected. Ports outside the danger zone are gaining new importance. And Gulf states are now looking more seriously at road, rail, and alternative sea corridors that can reduce their dependence on Hormuz. The Gulf is trying to Hormuz-proof itself. Ports, roads, railways, pipelines, and dry ports are no longer just economic infrastructure. They are becoming instruments of national security. But there is another side to this story, and that side concerns Africa. When trouble affects Hormuz, the Red Sea, or the Suez Corridor, global shipping does not simply stop. It looks for another route, and one of the oldest alternatives is the long route around Africa, especially through the Cape of Good Hope. That route is longer. It adds time, fuel cost, insurance pressure, and freight charges. But it has one powerful advantage. It gives ships another way to connect Asia, Europe, and the Atlantic when the Middle East corridor becomes too risky. This is why Africa is back at the center of the conversation. The question is whether African countries are prepared to turn this geography into power. West Africa should pay close attention. If shipping patterns continue to diversify, ports in Nigeria, Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, and other Atlantic-facing countries may become more important in global logistics. But that opportunity will not become reality by itself. It will require efficient ports, faster customs systems, better road and rail links, stronger maritime security, reliable energy, and regional trade policies that allow goods to move without endless friction. Otherwise, the world may pass by Africa's coastline without Africa capturing enough value from its own location. That is the real lesson of the Hormuz crisis. The Strait of Hormuz may be thousands of kilometers away from Lagos, Accra, Abidjan, or Dakar. But disruption there can quickly affect shipping costs, fuel prices, food imports, industrial supply chains, and investment decisions. And in that new contest over routes, Africa is not a spectator. Africa is part of the map. And perhaps if it prepares properly, Africa can become part of the answer. Thank you for watching. I am Falake Smith. For more reports, analysis, and fresh perspectives from Africa and the African diaspora, please subscribe to WestAfrica.news, like this video, and share it with others who follow global affairs from an African point of view. We would also like to hear from you. Send your comments, story ideas, expert views, or feedback to us at news@WestAfrica.news.
This is WestAfrica.news.